The Room is a drama directed, produced, written, and starring Tommy Wiseau, a crazy guy who proved to everyone that anyone can make a movie, and talent almost doesn't count for anything, just hashtag hustle and flow. It became a cultural phenomenon for being so bad it's good. So filmmakers like me who want to make quality, impactful art, just give up. Make trash. It doesn't matter. None of this matter. Straight wildin'. Do whatever, cause this guy made not one, but 3 movies, while you're still trying to find help for a short film, but can't because you're broke and a loser and probably suffering from social anxiety. Yep, my life. My life exactly. The movie is about a man named Johnny. Get it? Johnny? Tommy? Do you get it? He's a loving boyfriend to his fiancée Lisa, a loving father figure to a troubled, creepy, clingy, confusing young adult named Denny, and a loving best friend to oh hi Mark. Lisa cheats on Johnny with Mark, who feels no remorse for screwing over his best friend. Guys play a bunch of football and talk about nothing. Women sit down and chat about what a great guy Tommy is. Johnny. Lisa goes against the grain of what everyone thinks and says, you know what? I don't love Johnny. He's a boring piece of toast, and cheats on him repeatedly with handsome Mark. Mark is pretty cute, so not gonna lie, I don't blame her. Kind of. It's so bad, but you know what I mean. She lies about being abused by Johnny and is immediately shut down by everyone, even her own mother. Other stuff happens that doesn't matter, like Lisa's mom having breast cancer, these 2 horny kids going at it in their friend's house, like disrespectful cretins. Pause. I'm sorry. If they were my friends and they embarrassed me in front of my mom like this, I would have burned that place to the ground, messing up the good couch that cost me $500. Mine count? Alright. Obviously they choose violence that day. Also, these characters have no impact on the story, so we just sat through a gratuitous sex scene for no reason. Are we having fun yet? Anyway, Johnny is confused about Lisa's hot and cold antics, tries to figure out what's her problem by invading her privacy and consulting his therapist friend, who was later replaced by a random dude towards the end, and we are given no explanation on who he is and why he matters. But whatever, we knee deep in trash, might as well have an alien invasion. Oh wait, the story's supposed to be realistic. Everything boils over at Johnny's birthday party, where we get iconic moments like this.
I feel like I'm sitting on an atomic bomb waiting for it to go off.
Me too.
Don't worry about it, man.
Don't touch me, mother. Get out. Chicken. Chip, 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 chip. Everybody betrayed me. I fed up with this world.
Johnny has a meltdown. Lisa could care less. Mark doesn't really care either, even though...
Come on, Johnny's my best friend.
He's your best friend.
Johnny's my best friend.
Cause he's that shady friend that acts like he's cool but really ruins your life out of the blue. No rhyme or reason, just cause he's blonde and handsome. When Lisa is about to leave Johnny, he humps her dress and has flashbacks on the good times they shared and commits suicide. Everyone pops out of nowhere, including Mark, who was somehow nearby, and Denny is somehow nearby. Lisa cries over Johnny's death for 2 seconds, then reaches for Mark and inappropriately says they can be together, but Mark's like, no, I blame you for Johnny's death. It's all your fault, even though I was actively participating in the affair, which I could have said no to at any given moment, but your feminine body all over mine, your femininity, your womanhood made me lose all type of sense. You are dangerous, deceitful, you mastermind, you seductress, you vixen, off to the nunnery with you. So Johnny said, the end. Good times. Good times. God, that was bad. Ugh. The movie calls a whirlwind of questions like, who is this guy? What type of drug was he on to think the final outcome was presentable? Does he have no shame? Is this a foreign film? Is his eyes even open? Why is it called The Room and not The Roof? Did that seriously just happen? Is anyone gonna talk about anything that's not Johnny is a good guy? Why is this 25-year-old acting like a 19-year-old so creepy? Wait, what? Where is this guy from? His accent is not on this earth. Actual talent like James Franco and Seth Rogen, our pot-smoking Hollywood comedy duo, made a movie called The Disaster Artist about how The Room was made. Ironically, The Disaster Artist was critically acclaimed and gave us the best on-stage cockblock in award show history. Just, ooh, wonderful. Thousands of years ago, I first saw The Room on TV on Adult Swim. I was expecting one of my favorite shows like Futurama or Inuyasha, but I flipped on the channel and I saw this. As a teenager, I was very confused because every time I flipped back to Adult Swim, hoping to watch one of my shows, every single time I caught a long sex scene with the entire screen blacked out. So I concluded that Adult Swim is playing a softcore movie as a joke. Little did I know it was an honest attempt at filmmaking from a passionate man named Tommy Wiseau. Years later in my adulthood, I rewatched it with a friend, and it was a horribly awkward experience. I felt embarrassed for watching it with a friend, and I felt embarrassed for the people on screen acting this horrible material. The sex scenes were uncensored, and it was the most cringiest thing I have ever seen in my entire life, and it kept on going. For the show, I rewatched the film to grasp at straws at how to fix this horrible atrocity to cinema. It was tough, like really tough. But before we fix The Room, we must identify why it's so bad. Bruh, if I wasn't broke and I didn't have student debt, I wouldn't go into why it's bad because I can show you any frame of the movie and you'd already know. Plus, everyone has seen or at least watched videos like this to tell you everything about the film. But I'm broke and I love longer videos, so here we go. Tommy Wiseau ripped off of classical Hollywood melodramas, specifically the films of James Dean, which inspired the iconic line,
You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
You're tearing me apart!
Wiseau obviously took too many bad notes from classic movies. For example, notice the cinematography seems stagey, the shots are mostly in deep depth of field, without any motivation. Deep depth of field is when everything in frame is in focus or sharp. It's great for when you have something spectacular or grandeur to show in the background, like in the shot from Curse of the Golden Flower. Another example is 1968, Lion in the Winter with Katharine Hepburn, Peter O'Toole, and oh my god, he was actually young at some point, Silence of the Lambs scene stealer, Sir Anthony Hopkins. The set and locations are cheap and dated even for its time. Like, why do you have that Nosferatu La Belle et la Bête candelabra when it's the early 2000s, sir? Put that back where you found it. Why did you use green screen for a cityscape when you have money to be on an actual location? The set designer needs to go back to school or have a spiritual awakening because he or she did a lackluster job. A great set designer subconsciously tells you information within the mise-en-scène about character and story world with the proper choices of color, furniture, and setting. I mean, look at Amelie, directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet. Look at the set design of this shot. Fantastic. Immediately we're given information overload on the character and the story world. We can infer that the protagonist's personality is vibrant, eccentric, warm, romantic, but also lonely. We understand we're in a whimsical European world. We get all that information from one shot. Now look at a shot from the room. Okay, I'll give credit where credit's due. Thankfully, they weren't that lazy to have white walls because there is nothing I hate more than white walls because it reminds me of hospitals and schools. The wall has color, but it's dull. I don't get a sense of the world or who these characters are. I mean, compared to Gone Girl, the golden grail of relationship, drama, or thrillers, you get a sense of the couple's upper class lifestyle, but it's sterile and cold. A visual reflection of the relationship of the couple, Amy and Nick Dunn. The lighting in the room is flat as copy paper. Camera movements are basic AF, hand, tilt, or static. That's all you get. These camera movements are not bad on its own, but there's no style or intent. Camera movements can do a lot of things like inform the audience. In Inglourious Basterds, we are given important information with the camera simply moving down to show the hiding Jewish family. Like, everything about the production is so misguided because it's obvious why Zoe did not know anything about film production, so it all looks terrible. It looks like a Skinamax movie with a penny more. Bruh, the writing is on the nose and preachy as can be. Everyone expresses exactly what they feel in generic sentences that a robot could come up with. Scenes don't correlate with each other because there's no common theme connecting anything unless you count shameless misogyny, but we're grasping at straws here. The structure is repetitive in an attempt to be realistic. It is normal for people to do the same thing over and over, but it's not cinematic unless there's a point for it in the narrative like it is for Groundhog's Day or Edge of Tomorrow. But for The Room, them playing football adds nothing. Conversations with Lisa and her mother adds to nothing. The sex scenes don't add a thing except triggering fights or flight reflexes. The smut here is gratuitous, unsexy, and just gross. He wants it to be erotic, but it's not framed in such a way because, one, Tommy Wiseau's not the greenest looking person on earth. Good for him, he takes care of himself, but not my cup of tea. Even when it's just Lisa and Mark or those horny kids who ruined the good couch, it is still awkward and just cheesy. Nothing's going on to push the eroticism. Like, if you wanted it to be an erotic drama, then classic Hollywood cinema is not the batch of movies you want to pull from. I mean, try pulling from movies like Eyes Wide Shut, Melina, or Basic Instinct. What all these movies have in common is that eroticism is secondary and having a strong structure is key. But the problem is there's nothing holding anything up. It's rinse, lather, repeat. I mean, he even uses the same footage from a previous sex scene to fill in gaps. I'm lazy, man, but that's lazy, bruh. That poor woman, Lisa, man. She got the short end of the stick through all of it. Man, someone start a GoFundMe for that lady or Kickstarter. Save the actress from The Room. Give her something. Give her a medal, man. God. Dialogue is supposed to help develop character, but all the guys talk about is women and sex. How every male character regards women is the most disgusting thing ever. Because Tommy doesn't really understand women. He thinks they are objects to prop up what a big man he is, especially the mother. She loves Johnny so much. I'm just like, why don't you get with him? Lisa's only reason for being horrible is to make Johnny, a victim and righteous guy for everyone to feel sorry for. Tommy Wiseau did what many shallow storytellers do when they take away the wrong messages from their inspiration. They never look underneath the skin. The amateur pays more attention to the glossier elements of films, usually the visuals and music, and runs the risk of creating a piece of work that is mediocre or bad because they took basic elements of what they like without adding any nuance. The story is hollow because it's not expressing a moral or a viewpoint. In John Truby's book, 27 Steps of Being a Master Storyteller, Truby defines the importance of themes in creating better stories. A great story is not simply a sequence of events or surprises designed to entertain an audience. It is a sequence of actions with moral implications and effects, designed to express a larger theme. Theme is the author's viewpoint of how to act in a world. It is your moral vision. Whenever you present a character using means to reach an end, you are presenting a moral predicament, exploring the question of right action, and making moral argument about how to best live. Your moral vision is totally original to you, and expressing it to an audience is one of the main purposes of telling the story. Tommy Wiseau's insecurities bleed right onto the script. Like many other bad filmmakers like Neil Breen, they can't come to terms of how mediocre or bad they are as people, so they create fantasies for themselves where they pretend to be everything they wish they could be. They want to be smarter, successful, adored by everyone, desirable, but they're not. It's kind of depressing when you think about it. His vanity prevents him from having introspection and seeing the world as it is. Instead, he sees the world how he is. This is going to be quick. My ears are bleeding. Sound design is non-existent. It uses the same score over and over again, and it's terrible and out of place. The score is the corniest thing you will ever hear in your life. It's the type of stuff you will find in the deepest, darkest corner of royalty-free music on YouTube. Cringy R&B music playing over cringy sex scenes, and you already know with the legendary ADR.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bull. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. Go on. I don't think she's faithful to me.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Get out of my face, there is none. Moving on. All these characters are static. They don't do anything of real importance because Tommy's vanity does not allow for characters to be real people. So everyone is stuck in this limbo of repeating themselves and being hype men. Starting with Johnny. Johnny is the alpha and the omega of Mary Sue's. Superman and Ray ain't got nothing on our buddy here. He has no flaws because Wiseau wants to be seen as the most perfect person on this earth. If we took away the accent and weird mannerisms and replaced him with any regular guy, he'd be the most boring character on earth. He is portrayed as such a Christ-like, goody-goody person that doesn't face any obstacles because the movie doesn't linger on any conflict. Just move on to another scene of football and sex. Wiseau is so concerned with being seen as the best, therefore his fanfiction level of self-insert character is boring. The writer is so concerned with making the character likable and relatable, they don't give them any flaws except weak ones like clumsiness, or they love people too much to the point of being so sacrificing. Like, shut up. If you want to make a character, especially a protagonist, interesting, you might want to move away from ideas like likable or relatable, because honestly, we don't care. Look at characters like Don Draper, Jules Winfield, Walter White, Villanelle and E. Plastry, or Amy Dunn. Realistically, you're not supposed to like them or find them relatable, but you enjoy watching them because they have strengths and flaws, and the entertainment comes from them being challenged. Lisa. Lisa seems like all the women Tommy wants, but rejects him, and rightfully run away from him. Tommy's eyes, pretty women are manipulative, confusing, fascinating toys of gratification. Lisa is only appreciated for her youth, attractiveness. Johnny gives her a sexy red dress for his pleasure. 95% of her scenes are sex scenes where the camera lingers on her nude body and her belly button being assaulted. Like, what? That's crazy. Everyone wants her, even creepy Denny. What, bruh, get out of here. Creepy. Her sexuality is portrayed with contempt. When it's not for the pleasure of good guy Johnny, she's the snake in the grass, disrupting the peace of the realm of the high social hierarchy, a temptress. Her choosing not to see Johnny as the Christ-like character he wants to be. She is ostracized as the infidel in the religion of Johnny. When Mark tells a story of a woman who's an advocate for casual sex, like a huge chunk of the population being savagely beaten, Tommy laughs. I don't think it's because of reflexes for awkward situations. His face and body language are too gleeful. In his point of view, it is the rightful punishment for a woman having control over her body. Tommy Wiseau treats female sexuality when it's not in the service of a good man as something to be punished and tossed aside to be nothing. Whoa, that got way darker than I intended. Lisa's value is tied to being with a well-off guy like Johnny, and leaving seems absolutely insane when she confides in her mother or her best friend Rachel. She's pushed into a role that doesn't at all satisfy her and not encouraged to do anything except give sex and look pretty. Like they're in the 1560s. This is something the Love Witch tried to warn us about. But unlike the Love Witch that critiques these archaic beliefs or women's roles, Wiseau enforces these beliefs. And when the woman does not comply with her role, then the man suffers for it. There's a lot of stuff in Lisa's character when you dissect everything, and she is the most interesting character. She actually wants something and makes decisions for herself. Kind of a rebel, not satisfied with where she's at. She's like, hey, you know what? I do what I want. If only her parts weren't so repetitive, if only we got to know her better, if only her claiming independence weren't tied to clinging onto trash bag guys, if only the writer wasn't a bitter, insecure dude, she could have been the character that saved the room. Oh, hi, Mark. What can I say about this hollow shell of a character? I got nothing. Oh, I'm sorry. You wanted more? Okay, fine. The dude is shady for no reason. Like, sleeping with your best friend's fiance is the lowest of the low. Every single time Lisa calls on him, he is somehow surprised every time she seduces him. Oh, maybe this time she's going to invite me to eat cookies and drink some chamomile tea. Like, bruh, no. You know what's up. He's not just a horrible friend to Johnny, but also he's a horrible to basically everyone. He nearly threw a friend off of a 30-story building, and he doesn't really care about anything. I mean, I guess Wiseau was trying to create contrast. Johnny cares too much while Mark cares very little. Honestly, I ain't got nothing more to say about Mark. All right, moving on to Danny. Danny is creepy AF, and his relationship with Johnny is hella suspicious. And we get no context on why Johnny is so adamant of taking care of this 25-year-old pretending to be 17 with the worst haircut in humankind. and want to have sex with Lisa. And it's so strange that if given the chance, Denny would betray his father figure who pays for his livelihood to sleep with Lisa if she gave him the chance, which luckily she didn't. She has standards. You either got to be good looking like Mark or have money like Johnny. Denny has neither, so get out. Go. Don't come back. Don't come back. Get out. Our guy has more stuff going on in his life than everyone in the movie combined. Denny's on drugs. Denny's going to college. Denny wants to bang Lisa and creeps on her, but he's with a girl and wants to marry her. Denny has the gall to tell Johnny he wants to bang Lisa. Johnny is cool with it and doesn't punch him in the face or something, I don't know. Even Lisa is cool with Denny openly being creepy to her. Denny wants a threesome with his father figure and technically his mother figure because we don't know anything about his family. Like, what is up with this character? What's the point to him? He's way too old to be a cute, enduring sidekick that movies love to show how caring their protagonist is. He has no purpose because any intrigue involving him gets blown off or handled in 2 seconds. Like, why? Why are we here? Can't stand any. Claudette. Claudette is a terrible ripoff of Ruth Do-It Bucketer. You know, Rose's mom from Titanic, the same mom that pushes her daughter into a loveless relationship for her own selfish need to be taken care of financially, instead of encouraging her daughter to go out and get an education or start a career or to be independent. Nope. We're in the 1560s where we marry our children off for an acre of land and 10 cows. Daughters must be the epitome of beauty and must learn to shut their traps and make babies. Oh, he's beating you and getting drunk? Get over it, girl. We're in this for the long haul. Claudette is so selfish. By the time we get to...
I got the results of the test back. I definitely have breast cancer.
I don't care or feel sorry for her because she chose money and status over the well-being and happiness of her child. And the character is treated like an afterthought. She shows up and says the same thing over and over again. Johnny is stable. Johnny is a good man. Johnny's getting a promotion. Johnny doesn't drink. Like, Claudette is basically Johnny's biggest hype man. All the other characters, pointless, worthless. Therapist friend is boring. The weird couple that ruined the good couch is the absolute worst, especially the guy, Mr. Weirdface, Mr. Knockoff Stifler meets Ryan Reynolds. I hate him. I don't know why, except he ruined the good couch and now we have to burn it. The guy who replaced the therapist friend, unimportant and boring. Rachel is the worst best friend ever. Trash. All of them are trash. They need to go to the dumpster. The dumpster. They add nothing to the story. They don't progress or have arcs or do anything important. They're just used for padding out time. There's no other explanation. Tommy Wiseau was sitting in his suspicious apartment, knew he needed at least 80 pages to be a feature-length film, so he added these characters to reach the page limit. Don't care how, need to squirt it out now in a hurry. So who cares about logic? God, this is so frustrating. So let's finally get into what you're here for. How do we fix the room? This is gonna be tough. Where do you even start? First, let's try to find a stable foundation to work in. Let's start with genre. Tommy Wiseau tried to save face by saying The Room is a dark comedy because of audience reaction. Like, bruh, who is you trying to fool? But let's entertain the thought that this guy was aware the entire time he was making a dark comedy. A dark comedy is when you downplay and make light of serious stuff like death, social injustice, existential dread. In The Room, you have all this dark stuff like a crazy drug dealer beating Denny up for all the right reasons. Infidelity, breast cancer, and betrayal. These characters treat all these topics like it's nothing at all. So there's a point there. There's no irony. There's no wit. Everything is funny because everyone fails at everything when they're desperately trying. Tommy Wiseau's delusion that he's giving a James Dean level performance is priceless. It's clearly an honest attempt at a relationship drama, so we're sticking with that. Thought you was going to escape? Bring it over here. You're not gonna switch trains, my guy. Nope. We're sticking this out. So we're working in the genre of relationship drama. So now we need a theme. There's no strong central theme connecting all the scenes and the characters. End result, you have a lot of repetitive scenes and useless characters. And referring back to Truby, the theme is the author's viewpoint. Unfortunately, it's hard to tell what Wiseau's viewpoint is. Like, he plainly says that we all need to be loving and good to one another, but no one follows that philosophy because every character, even Johnny's character, is a bad person, kind of. So that lazy mouthpiece of sugary goodness is useless. So grasping at straws, I came up with what I think is an appropriate theme. Your identity is not a confined archetype, therefore forcing one into a tightly confined role leads to crisis and a lax sense of self. I came up with the theme when watching the movie because everyone constantly is told to stay in their role, and how people see you is what you are, so there's this drive to perpetuate what everyone sees. Lisa is constantly being told to be the perfect wife and fiance, even though she plainly said to people she trusts she's not satisfied. Everyone sees her as this attractive woman that needs to be taken care of. Johnny presents himself as the perfect guy and gains the benefit of a doubt and unwavering protection of everyone. Even though he's an idiot and invaded someone's privacy, Mark is just living it up. His role is the best friend that he breaks by having an affair with Lisa. Claudette tells her daughter to keep the facade of being a happy trophy wife. In all, everyone is supposed to be this Norman Rockwell idea, but everyone can't keep it up because it's impossible to uphold because people are complicated, either always changing or staying the same. Moving on to characters. Get rid of them. Scrap it all. Scrap everything. Start from the beginning. Let's go. To make sure we don't have any weak ends, we need to connect all the characters to the theme. Each character must have values that oppose or show variations. Referring back again to Truby, let's create a character web to visually see how these characters can relate. So we have our theme here. Let's start with our boy Johnny. Johnny wants to be the ideal archetypal male and presents a false image. He manipulates everyone to like him in public by exasperating his accomplishments in his occupation and relationship with Lisa. But in private, he's shallow and horribly insecure, desperately clings on to ideals that are impossible to live up to. So basically Pete from Mad Men. Lisa is caught between being an archetypal woman or a free-spirited individual. The people around her encourage her to confine herself to marriage for survival. And for a while, she relishes in the perks of being an upper-class socialite, such as a beautiful home, admiration, and all the free time in the world. But it comes at the cost of losing parts of herself and keeping up a constricted image. Always look beautiful, have a sweet disposition, and have no real opinion or distinct personality. Gillian Flynn puts it best in Gone Girl. She has to be the cool girl always. Rachel and Fake Stickler can be variations of Johnny and Lisa. Rachel is the woman Lisa has to be in order to be part of this high society circle. Rachel willingly sacrifices individuality for comfort because to her it's better to cry on satin sheets than on the streets. Ooh, bars. Shout out to capitalism! But even for this great actress, the strain of constantly presenting an image eats at her, and her life becomes aimless and without meaning because she gave up the great parts of herself. Fake Stickler is the man Johnny wants to be. Yeah, I know. This guy. Stickler is the guy with everything, and you know how it is with men who are entitled and think they are above everyone. That's right. This ideal man is a sham. He is so concerned with constructing his image, he is unable to have genuine relationships with anyone, even his wife Rachel. He shows no sympathy unless it benefits him, and everyone is expendable. Oh, hi, Mark. Let's try to make this block of wood more interesting. Mark at first chooses his individual self and rejects being part of the norm, and his bohemian lifestyle seduces Lisa. But it comes to an end as he's getting older and competition as an actor is getting more intense to the point where he cannot sustain himself. He then rationalizes that maybe his choice of following the beat of his own drum was the wrong choice and should go into the world of having a regular 9-to-5, the fate he feared the most. He saw Johnny and Stickler's life as soulless and artificial, and can hardly stomach sucking up to the likes of Stickler to be part of the in-group. Instead of Denny being useless, creepy, and having no relations to Johnny, he is Johnny's younger brother in his teens, a millennial or maybe Gen Z, who's not fooled by Johnny and rejects the philosophy of being a cookie cutter. He's not a stereotypical moody, angsty teen, he's just an individual trying to find an identity that works best for him on his own terms, and tries to convince Johnny to stop living to be the ideal and just live. Denny argues that Johnny can still keep his job, but he can also pursue other interests to broaden his horizon and live a more liberating yet secure life. Denny can be the voice of the filmmaker's points of view, where keeping a therapist friend and this guy doesn't show up out of the blue like he owns the place. Therapist friend understands the concept of identity more than any other character because, duh, he's a therapist. Why wouldn't he? He's mostly outside the sphere because he sees how much of a disaster his friend group is, and chooses a life where he can be unabashedly himself and comfortable in his skin. He connects to everyone in a genuine, understanding manner and tries to convince others to drop the flimsy facade and address their problems in a healthy manner. You know what a therapist would do? We're scrapping Claudette's whole personality and going in reverse. Rachel is the voice that encourages Lisa to be an unsatisfying identity for the sake of practicality, but Claudette is the voice for Lisa to choose an independent life. Claudette sees Lisa making the same mistakes she made when she was young and doesn't want history to repeat itself. Alright, the foundation is strong. Now, let's build up. The story needs to head down to a resolution. Will people get a happy ending or is it cry time? Let's meet in the middle and say bittersweet. So we're not going to end with Johnny committing suicide because it doesn't make any sense. Even though infidelity is bad and can emotionally and mentally mess someone up, it's terrible to use suicide as a solution for a problem like this. A very dangerous message to send out. I think it would be impactful if Johnny and Lisa decide to stay together. I know. How is this bittersweet? Even in the original The Room, Lisa outgrown Johnny and they are horribly mismatched. There's nothing more tragic than two people wrong for each other deciding to actively ruin each other's lives. They know deep down in their hearts it's a terrible choice because they are about to waste many years of self-growth and miss out on opportunities. Lisa's going to find many more marks to compensate, and Johnny is going to find other women willing to submit to his fantasy. Even though Lisa and Johnny are barreling down this lie that they built up for themselves, it would be comforting to see Denny, who's not a creep, learn from the mistakes of his brother. Claudette and therapist friend will continue to live authentic lives that are meaningful to them, and that's pretty sweet and realistic. Some people never learn their lessons and continue repeating patterns. Convincing some people can be impossible, so you have to let them go and work on yourself. That's the bittersweetness. Our new story is that Tommy and Lisa are a young couple that bends themselves over backwards and tries to assimilate into a high society crowd. Visually, I think an aesthetic similar to the cinematography of Sharp Objects, directed by Jean-Marc Vallée with DP Yves Blanger. I adore the cinematography of the show. It's so beautifully moody. The dark nature of the show is not hammered down, it's very subtle. Or maybe Eyes Wide Shut, directed by Stanley Kubrick with DP Larry Smith. Eyes Wide Shut is on the other side of the spectrum. Cinematography is grand and intricate for a small story of a doctor and his wife, but the visuals of the sublime beauty of life in the upper class lifestyle will make the audience understand why Lisa and Johnny would push so hard to get their foot in the door. We begin our story with Johnny picking up Lisa to go to a party hosted by fake Stickler and Rachel. Lisa comes down with a dress that's not up to Johnny's standards and tells her to change into the dress he bought her. Lisa argues she did not like the dress, but Johnny guilts her into doing what he wants. She wears the dress and they head off to the party. At the party, it's glamorous beyond Lisa's imaginations. Fake Stickler and Johnny pair off and Lisa hangs with Rachel. Mark makes his way into the party. Johnny introduces him to Fake Stickler and they immediately get off on the wrong foot. Stickler scoffs at Mark's acting career and brags how he knows many directors and producers. And maybe he'll give them a call? Mark tells him to go get out of his face, I'll fight you, bro. And Johnny pulls him to the side. Johnny tells Mark he needs to start playing the game if he wants to get anywhere. Mark argues that he would rather go broke than be a corporate machine. Johnny's like, whatever man, do you boo, and goes back to the party. Meanwhile, Rachel introduces Lisa to other rich women. Lisa mostly stays quiet and hellishly insecure, but enchanted. One of the women comments on her dress. Lisa proudly said it was a gift from her fiance. They are impressed by Johnny's good taste. It makes Lisa even more insecure about herself. Johnny and Lisa are swept up and seduced by the lifestyle, and their love is reignited. They believe this is where they need to be. A short time passes. Johnny is at work with Stickler. Stickler subtly emasculates Johnny in front of everyone, and Johnny grits his teeth and takes it with a smile. Meanwhile, Lisa is invited to brunch by Rachel and her crew. Rachel makes a jab at Lisa's style, which is artsy and eccentric, compared to the Coco Chanel and Louis Vuitton uniform of the group. Lisa explains she's an artist herself, and they barrage her with questions if she's acquainted with any big-time artists. Lisa says no, and they promptly move on to a new subject. Rachel pulls Lisa aside and fakes being on her side by calling the other women stuck-up sharks. She asks Lisa about her past, and Lisa explains that before meeting Johnny, she was a struggling artist, and she came from a working class family. Rachel also came from a working class family. She struggled to afford college until she met Stickler and quit school altogether. She brags about her travels all over the world, the people she knows, and all the things she has done. All of it happened because she married someone like Stickler, and in return, Rachel constructs an image everyone wants to see and encourages Lisa to do the same. After brunch, Lisa runs into Mark, post a bad audition. Things are friendly between them and they have plenty in common. Mark voices he's having a rough time getting gigs and rent is due soon. Lisa also struggles creatively because she's busy keeping up with Rachel and wedding plans. Before things get too heavy, Lisa leaves and promises to talk to Johnny to help out with Mark's financial problems. Lisa gets ready for another party. Johnny comes in with another dress he chose. She starts getting really upset and rejects it. He criticizes her again for not fitting in enough, and she's getting in the way of his career. Guilts her by saying how much he provides for them. Lisa caves and wears the dress. At the small dinner party, the men talk about nonsense, while the women smile and laugh it off. Lisa corrects Stickler's stupid comment. Stickler fires back and gets the entire room against her. Johnny makes an excuse that, ew, it's the wine talking, but Lisa claps back like a boss. The car ride home is silent. Once at home, Johnny goes off about her embarrassing him. Lisa is hurt that he didn't defend her. Johnny justifies his actions as, oh, playing the game, suck up to them, laugh with them, become them so we can have their life also. Lisa's like, so becoming them is more important than defending your soon-to-be wife? Ooh. Lisa's not the 1, 2, or 3 in this story. She ain't the one. Johnny says he does what he does for her and continues to guilt and manipulate her into obeying him. Lisa takes a trip to her mother Claudette at her countryside home outside of the city. They chit-chat, catch up, and once they get into the wedding part, Lisa shows her distress about going through with it. Claudette says she never liked Johnny and wouldn't blame Lisa for dipping out. Claudette encourages her daughter to be an artist because even though she was struggling, she was herself. Johnny takes Mark on a trip that's not throwing around a football. They pop bottles and hang out. Johnny heard about Mark's money problems from Lisa and offered a job with him and Stickler. Mark refuses because of his hatred of Stickler and the thought of working a corporate job. Johnny's like, yo bro, you need to think of something fast because you're running out of options. Johnny gives money to Mark to help him out with rent. Mark says there's another audition and he thinks he's going to crush it. Lisa avoids going home to Johnny, unsure whether or not to stay with him. On a whim, she visits Mark, who is high on hope. They get closer emotionally. Lisa confesses her uncertainty with her future with Johnny and his need to control her. Mark vouches for Johnny and rationalizes that his behavior is only to provide and make his family proud because they put all their hope onto Johnny. After a few too many and spilling their guts, now we start the affair. Lisa believes she made up her mind and wants to leave Johnny. When she gets to the apartment, Johnny surprises her with an outing before she can get a word in. He takes her to the house he bought for them. Lisa drops her plan to leave him and decides to stay. Their relationship goes back to a high. And Diddy comes in as a non-creepy creep and appropriately aged. He's there for the summer to maybe get a job or internship. Something cute. Something we can vibe with. Johnny and Denny bond mostly over music because they come from a music-loving family. After a while, Denny noticed how different Johnny is since he moved to the city. He's less spontaneous and his guitar is dusty from lack of use. Johnny gave up music to climb the corporate ladder. Denny argues he doesn't have to, he could do both. Johnny brushes off the advice, chalking it up to Denny being young and naive. Johnny and Lisa continue to hang out with Rachel and Stickler. They attend dinner parties, brunches, and balls. Johnny is loving the attention while Lisa still feels like an outsider. Mark continues to bomb his auditions and his money problems persist. He looks for Johnny but finds Lisa alone at the apartment. Mark breaks down about his problems and manipulates Lisa into sleeping with him. Mark declares he's giving up on acting and going to ask Johnny for a job. Lisa encourages Mark to, not give up. Maybe there's an opportunity waiting for him. But Mark's like, no, I'm not losing my apartment and moving back to my parents' house. He threatens her to keep quiet about the affair and leaves. At another party, Mark is there. He apologizes to Stickler and charms the crowd. Johnny is proud, but Lisa is mixed about it. Mark breaks away from the crowd and Lisa follows to go to talk to him. But she walks on him and Rachel performing the downward dog. Ooh, 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 things, well, heating up, guys. Heating up. It is heating up. Lisa goes to find Johnny, but he's busy charming a crowd. Lisa is absolutely alone. At home, Lisa plainly says she wants to split up. She throws the affair with Mark in Johnny's face. She hates the life they're in and everyone including him. They have a classic couple blow up, but being the master manipulator, Johnny convinces her to stay. They choose to stay together even though it's a really bad idea, because they both want different things. Somewhere in between, therapist friend comes in, makes an appearance, more interactions with Rachel and Lisa. Rachel and Stickler are shown as flawed shams somewhere, but we're going to end it here. It's by no means perfect, but for a short amount of time and using the building blocks we created, it's leagues better. Characters are more fleshed out and defined. A clear theme helped tie everything together and gave directions on where the story needs to go. In conclusion, The Room is a victim of extreme delusion and incompetence. It's still a hell of a ride on its own. It's a masterclass on what not to do in filmmaking and writing. Wiseau's acting is entrancing to look at, like watching two trains collide. The weird editing, the terrible sound, it's all so, oh god, it's like the opera of bad. We need this in our lives. This is art that stands the test of time. There's still so much mystery behind it. Like, forget Tommy Wiseau's age. How did he get the money to do any of this? Please tell me. I want that money. Please, someone please tell me how did he get this money so I can hustle that hard too, man. The movie cost $6 million and no one knows where the money came from. There's a rumor that Tommy Wiseau sold jackets in his jacket business to pay for everything. Whoa, hold on. That don't sound right. Tearing it apart and piecing it together is a great exercise in understanding story. The Room doesn't look too bad, and with a better constructed story, it could have been elevated into a smart drama. Unfortunately, it goes down in history as the best bad movies ever made. And you know what? Good for him. He tried, and his efforts ironically paid off. It's a story about passion prevailing over the naysayers that gives filmmakers like me anxiety, because what if I make something this bad? Actually, never mind, already did. What can you do when you're a filmmaker starting off? You fail until you hope to God you make it. And it's like, what if I made something so bad and it literally follows me for the rest of my life? Oh, no, please God. You know what, I already told my friends if I ever make anything this level of bad, that they have permission to punch me in the throat. Well, you made it to end the video. Thank you so much for sticking with me. If you liked the video, then please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and also, what is your favorite so bad it's good movie? Because honestly, even though The Room is bad, I would not say it's like my favorite so bad it's good movie. I'm gonna leave it as a mystery on what is my favorite so bad it's good movie. I might most likely is gonna make a video on it. Maybe it'll surprise you, maybe you never heard of it, but you'll see. You will see. I'm going to eat nothing but Oreos, rewatch Beastars for the 12th millionth time, and pray to the North Star for a puppy. Later. Goodbye. The door is that way. It is 12:35 a.m. I gotta go to bed. Later.